Let us pray. Almighty and most gracious God, in your wisdom you call men and women to come together to take counsel for the good of many. Be with this council tonight. Open their hearts and minds to one another as they work in unity and in peace, love, and joy as we come to that season of Easter. Lift up all of our hearts to your love and to your presence. Bless and anoint all of us this night. Amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We received a letter from the Legislative Joint Auditing Committee giving us a clean bill of health for our 2013 financial statements. It was quite a long process to have the auditors in last year, equally long for them to leave and gather together their comments. But we did have a clean bill of health, and this is public record, so if anybody would like to see it, it is available to you. We are anticipating the auditors to appear any day now for yet another stretch so that they can examine our books for last year, and we'll go through the process again. The good news is this is a free audit that is done for us. So if anybody would like to see it, it's available for you. Jeff?
We're going to lower the screen. You can turn it on.
Jeff, if you want to turn that on, please, and we'll move on to the financial.
So this comes up here.
Okay. So first, I'd entertain a motion to approve the financial statements.
I so move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All righty. So we'll go to the first slide, Jeff.
He didn't vote on it.
Mayor, we need to have a vote on
Yeah.
that motion.
Right. Who moved on the
I did.
financial?
Morgan.
Okay, Morgan.
Morgan
and second?
and Flynn.
Okay.
I was going to go to discussion first.
Okay. I didn't realize this was part of the treasurer's report.
Right, it is.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So can you pull up the first slide or the second slide? It's the down arrow. There we are.
There.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is the revenue, and I know that this is brand new for all of you. But I've decided that on a monthly basis, we're going to show you just exactly at a very high level where we are. The long bars, which are hopefully yellow and orange, are the general funds. The smaller bars are street. We have to keep a separate budget for streets because we get turnback funds coming from the state and the county, and we have to keep them separate. We even write separate checks for the expenses related to streets. So if you look at the February numbers, down at the bottom you'll see 2/1/2015. That's actually the end of February. And if you look at the tall bars, you'll see that there is a gap. The orange is the budget column, and the yellow is the actual. And the yellow is above the orange, hopefully on your copy out there. And that's a gap of $61,000. That's a favorable gap. It means that we brought in more revenue than anticipated. And the two main factors are ambulance. Chief, you've done an outstanding job in the billing, thank you. That was up by $28,000. And then franchise fees for UVerse and telephone made up the balance. If you look now at the smaller set of numbers, that is for streets. And again, if you look at it, you'll see that the green, which is the budget, and then the street actual is the dark brown. Now, it's a much smaller budget, but still we have to watch and make sure that we're going to be okay. There is one thing that I want to mention to you, everyone on the council. If you remember back in the fall, we had a millage increase for the pensions for the fire and the police. When we did the monthly breakdown of the budget, we had anticipated that it would have been included in February coming from the county. It will not come from the county until April. They will start collecting in March, and we will get our last payment in November. That doesn't mean that the total amount is going to vary. It means it's compacted into 8 months. So we have adjusted the monthly, but we have not touched the annual because that will not change. So I just want everybody to be aware of the fact that although your packet may say that year to date we are bottom line 112,000 to the good, we're actually 175,000 to the good. So if you go to the expenses, again, you can see the same thing. You see the gap at the top between the yellow and the orange. That's 91,000, favorable. And part of that is the building department at 29.5, police at 16, fire at 21, and incidentals for the other. If you look, however, at the streets, you'll see the reverse. You'll see the budget in gray and the actual in yellow. And that gap is 31,000. And that's primarily due to striping that was done on the streets that was anticipated to be done in the fall, was done early this year, and that was for 36,000, and that put us over. The good news is we won't have to do it again later in the year. So that's what I'm going to try and show you every single month. It's at a very, very high level. We actually take it deep down when we're doing our own investigation, but I hope that you'll find this helpful. If you're accustomed to some other type of financial charting, please step forward and let me know, and let's have a look at it, because we looked at a number of charts that we could use following the principle so that it was fairly easy to see at a fairly high level. Are there any questions or discussion? All right, then I'll move to a roll call vote.
Okay.
I think a show of hands is all that's necessary on this.
Okay, all right. And let's do that. A show of hands, all in favor? Opposed?
Unanimous.
Unanimous.
5-0.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion to suspend the rules and read all proposed ordinances and resolutions on the agenda by title only.
I move we suspend the rules and
Second.
do title only.
Thank you. And second,
Second.
Alderman King, thank you. The first is old business.
We need to vote, Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, we need to vote on this. And this will be a roll call vote.
All right. Alderman Morgan,
Yes.
Alderman Flynn,
Yes.
Alderman Anderson,
Yes.
Alderman King,
Yes.
Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
5-0.
Thank you. The first piece of business is old business. This is an ordinance that reads, creating a permit requirement for electrical usage on or near standing bodies of water, providing for minimal electrical safety standards and signage requirements and for other purposes. This was tabled at the December meeting for this meeting, and at this time, I'm not prepared to move forward with this,
Yeah.
and I would accept a motion to table this item indefinitely.
Motion to table indefinitely?
Second.
Alderman Wilson and Alderman Morgan.
Okay.
We'll do a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Flynn,
Yes.
Alderman Anderson,
Yes.
Alderman King,
Yes.
Alderman Wilson,
Yes.
Alderman Morgan.
Yes.
Carried 5-0.
Thank you. Under new business, item A is an ordinance adopting amendments for variance review criteria, building heights, planned zoning districts, and landscape maintenance bonds to the zoning code of the City of Bella Vista, Arkansas. This is the second reading. Is there any discussion?
I do have a question. Does this apply to commercial or all residential, any building?
Alderman Morgan, is there a specific provision of the ordinance that you're referring to in your question?
The landscaping.
The landscape bonding would specifically apply to commercial development in Bella Vista. Our
Just click the
regulations
Adobe
currently do
icon
not
on the
affect
bottom.
residential properties.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Thank you. We'll move on. Item B is a resolution amending the 2015 annual city budget to provide additional expenditure authority for citywide information technology needs and police department vehicle improvements. And if you will go to, please, the business of the city council, there is an oversheet for you. And bottom line is, first of all, with the email and our technology, we're on POP email, which is quite old, and there are major limitations of the email and the ability to hold email and prevent deletion in the event of a lawsuit or FOIA request, and that needs to be mitigated. The best alternative is Microsoft 365. Chief Farmer, who was on vacation this week, did a lot of digging for this and looked at a lot of alternatives, and it will cost the city approximately $12,600 a year for 150 users. The second portion of this is a major update to our web page. The ability to do content changes, to have much more robust and dynamic web pages has increased dramatically over the last 4 years. It's even got to the point now where instead of us having to contact a third party to put stuff on our web page for us, once we build this, we will be able to do it ourselves. All you need to understand is how to do PowerPoint and Word. It's as simple as that. The other objective is 3 clicks and you're there. That's what people are looking for today. We did go out in the marketplace, and although it's not over $20,000, we still thought it prudent to contact different companies, have their presentations and their pricing. And we had one by an Indiana company. There was eGov Strategies, and they wanted $20,000. We then went to Revise, which is up in Michigan. They wanted between 10 and 12, depending on what we wanted to do. DesignWorks, which is our current company, was between 10 and 12, and Elkins was between 10, and 12. We've selected Elkins. We believe that they can give us a more robust and more dynamic web page. That in turn will also give us the ability to start using social media, which we don't use today. So, I would ask for a motion, please, to adopt this resolution.
I move that we adopt this resolution.
Second,
Second.
discussion. Okay, all those in
well,
favor through roll? Yes, ma'am.
I guess I do have some questions.
Sure.
So this will allow our employees at City Hall to update information on our website
Immediately,
immediately.
yes.
And then the social media, are you referring to Facebook?
Facebook and Twitter.
And do we have somebody that can devote the time to Facebook and Twitter to keep that current day by day?
By the time we get this in place, I hope to have, yes. We have money in the budget for a part-time HR communications type person working with Mrs. Wilms. And I will be asking that person to actually do this.
Okay. I think it's very important that we have a more updated website, and certainly one that's more user-friendly to our City Hall employees.
I agree. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Yes.
Alderman King.
Yes.
Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Alderman Morgan.
Yes.
Alderman Flynn.
Yes.
Carried 5-0.
Thank you. Okay. Resolution number C, amending resolution number R 2015-13, repealing resolution number 2015-14, and authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to enter into a contract with Superior Water Group of Siloam Springs pursuant to a state procurement contract for the purchase of 3 new Chevrolet Tahoes for the police department. And I'd entertain a motion, please.
Move we adopt.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Now, as noted here on your cover sheet, after we had approved at the last meeting the purchase of a Tahoe for our K-9 unit, we also approved the purchase of 2 Chargers. However, you may remember we had some snow at that point as well. And the Chargers that we have are special police pursuit Chargers, and they are rear-wheel drive. I have a rear-wheel drive Charger as well, and it doesn't go out in the snow. When it snowed, especially on rush hour on a Friday where it was supposed to be only 20% chance and down it came, we had a lot of cars in the ditch, and we could have used some more 4-wheel drive, not only to make sure that everybody's safe, but we were transporting people back to their home from some of the vehicles that got stuck in the snow. It'll also give our officers an opportunity to take a lot of the stuff that they have in the Chargers, which is sitting in the trunk and in the back seat, and put it all in the back, thus freeing up the back seat entirely. The Tahoes do cost more. It'll be $23,000 for the 3 of them. However, I did a lot of research today. I went to a Chevrolet dealer to get more information about them. And then I also got in touch with the Benton County Sheriff's Department and spoke to a lieutenant there who's done a similar study. And his remarks were, although it's not as fuel efficient as the Chargers, it has a higher resale value, it has lower maintenance costs. It's endorsed by the Michigan State Police and the LA County Sheriff's Department, who do very, very aggressive testing of all the various types of vehicles that are available to the police departments. And as I mentioned, the officers can carry more gear. I did also reach out and found that Rogers and Fayetteville have also found that these vehicles have lower maintenance costs. I've spoken to our fire chief, Chief Sims. He has one of the older models of Tahoes, and the only costs incurred thus far are new tires and oil change. And I have reached out to Captain Mike Smith in Bentonville because he too has gone through this, and unfortunately, he wasn't able to get back to me prior to this meeting. But I wanted to make sure that indeed we were purchasing the correct vehicles. I did do some comparisons with the Charger. The miles per gallon is the same. There are some new features in the Tahoes that are not in the Chargers, not the least of which there are dual isolated batteries. So there's a primary battery and there's a backup battery. There's also a heavy-duty trailer equipment with universal wiring, rear vision cameras, and there's a 110-volt three-prong outlet, the same as you and I have in our homes. One of the projects that we want to bring forward this year is to increase the number of vehicles that will actually have computers in them. And it tends to be a rather complicated wiring concept to be able to bring power to them. In this, we can simply just plug them in at the end of shift or when the vehicle's not in use. It simply unplugs and we're done. Much easier. So I did quite a bit of homework on this. I feel very comfortable with the acquisition of the 3 vehicles. And is there any discussion?
Yes. Mayor, I really appreciate your research into this, and it's also my understanding that we have plenty of miles of rugged road where these would be more appropriate than the Chargers.
We do, and in fact, that's exactly what Lieutenant Alsop said from the Sheriff's Office. Thank you.
I have a question. What does this bring it down to per unit for the 3?
Per unit? I don't know. The chief isn't here. He has the actual numbers. He did not give them to me.
Okay, so the 23,000.
It's about 31, I believe, isn't it?
31,058.
Right. Anything else? All righty. Roll call vote, please, sir.
Alderman King.
Yes.
Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Alderman Morgan.
Yes.
Alderman Flynn.
Yes.
Alderman Anderson.
Yes.
Carry 5-0.
Thank you. The next resolution, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into a contract with Smith Two-Way Radio pursuant to a Western States Contracting Alliance Cooperative purchasing agreement in the amount not to exceed $29,900 for the purchase of 30 handheld radios and 7 digital mobile radios, plus labor and programming for use by the police department. This is in the budget. We're simply moving it forward for this year. Captain, we're currently using analog.
Yes.
And this will move us into the world of digital?
Correct.
All right. I'd entertain a motion to approve, please.
Move to approve.
Alderman King, second.
Second.
Alderman Flynn. Discussion.
Yes, I'm going to expose my ignorance in technology. What is the difference between handheld and digital mobile radios?
Well, the handheld is actually one, as you would,
Well, I understand that.
and the digital mobile is the one that they carry on their belts, and it comes up, and the mic is here.
Okay, so they're both mobile type?
They're both mobile types, yes. But
Oh, no,
The digital mobile is the one that's mounted
in the vehicle.
oh, okay, good enough.
Oh, good, I'm glad I asked.
Good thing you asked. How about analog versus digital?
Well, I am all for that.
Okay.
I know the difference in that.
Okay, good. Anybody else? All righty, sir.
Okay. Alderman Morgan.
Yes.
Alderman Flynn.
Yes.
Alderman Anderson.
Yes.
Alderman King.
Yes.
Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Carry 5-0.
Thank you. The next resolution, amending a contract with Kraft and Tull and Associates, Inc. for design, development, and bidding devices related to the construction of a new street highway department facility on State Highway 279, amending the 2015 capital building budget and for other purposes. I'd entertain a motion to approve, please.
I move to approve.
Alderman Flynn, second.
Second.
Alderman Wilson. You may remember that we're planning to build a street department up on 279 across from the Boys and Girls Club. The original plan was to place it back from the highway, and was a good plan at first until we began to dig in deeper and deeper and look at the costs with the engineers. It turned out that we would be paying substantially more, over the 3 million mark as a matter of fact, in order to get all the movement of the dirt and to also accommodate a lot of retaining walls and also about 1,000 feet of asphalt for the driveway going in. We sat down with a fellow in construction that's been helping Bentonville, and he gave us some pro bono advice and basically said that if you take the building as it is and you move it closer to 279, you can eliminate well over $500,000 of your cost, probably more. That, to me, frankly, was a no-brainer. The costs that we have spent so far, some $30,000+ for Craft and Tull on the old one, is lost because they have to do it again. But if I can save well over $500,000 for $65,000, I believe it's worthwhile. It will also move it closer to the highway. For those of you that were at the commission hearing back in November, there were a lot of our fellow residents at the back who were very concerned about the noise. This will abate much of that concern. There was also concern by some residents that if it was too close, then it might not be the prettiest building to actually see as you come in to Bella Vista from the 279 entrance. We're designing it so it looks like every other new building that we're going to build, which is essentially the look of the fire department. That will be the look of a city building. As far as the front, we recently had a gentleman who had worked for us for many, many years in the street department, and his 2 sons wanted to do something to honor their dad, so they gave us a financial contribution which is earmarked for bushes, shrubs, and other plants to make it look very nice in front of the building, and we're very appreciative for them doing that. There was also some concern that if we move it to the front, we will lose that portion of the front that we were hoping to sell for some commercial enterprise to move in. That is true, but we have not lost all of it. We still have retained 3/4 of it, about 4 acres, and that is enough for various types of entrepreneurs who wish to come and build. So I feel very comfortable with that as well. Are there any questions?
Do we have anybody interested in that business portion of the property?
Not in that particular spot, no.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right, roll call vote, please, sir.
Okay, Alderman Wilson,
Yes.
Alderman Morgan,
Yes.
Alderman Flynn,
Yes.
Alderman Anderson,
Yes.
Alderman King.
Yes.
Carried 5-0.
Thank you. Item F is a resolution, Dartmoor Hawk Crossing, a resolution expressing the willingness of the City of Bella Vista to utilize Federal Aid Transportation Alternatives Program funds. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Okay. HAWK. HAWK is an acronym. It stands for High Intensity Crosswalk Activated Crosswalk Beacon, as a matter of fact. This will be right by Cooper School. And if you can picture where the soccer fields are now, right in the front of the soccer fields are the parking area. And we have students, parents, as well as faculty members parking there. And in the future, not too distant future, I hope, we are actually going to have bicycles going through there, which will connect with the Blowing Springs trails so that we are able to take bicycle and hiking traffic from the end of Lake Bella Vista, move it along to the crossing, excuse me, and then have it come over Dartmoor and connect with Blowing Springs. This is a crosswalk that doesn't require anybody to be there, and I say that because today during school there is someone standing there as a crossing guard. It's simply activated by a button, 7 by 24, when someone wishes to cross, lights flash, and they go across, and we're done. And we believe that that will be a very good addition for both the school children as well as for the hiking and biking folks. The cost is $110,000, pardon me, and $90,000 of that is part of the federal grant that we're going after. The other $20,000 is for the city, and we do have the money for it. The wording of the resolution may sound a little complicated. It's actually driven by the state. So this is not our wording, this is state wording in order for us to comply to be able to try and get the TAP funding that we require. Any discussion?
I would like to request that in the actual resolution that maybe in parentheses after HAWK, that the actual acronym be stated.
Okay, we'll need to have a motion to amend to reflect that, Mayor, in a second.
All right.
All right, I move.
All right, second?
Second.
Alderman Wilson. Any discussion on this amendment? Okay, then let's vote first, please, on the amendment.
Okay. Alderman Flynn.
Yes.
Alderman Anderson.
Yes.
Alderman King.
Yes.
Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Alderman Morgan.
Yes.
Carried 5-0.
Ready?
That's the amendment.
So
That's
is there any
amended.
further discussion on the actual amended resolution? All righty. Then we'll move into a roll call vote for the amended resolution.
Alderman Morgan.
Yes.
Mayor, was there a motion to adopt the okay, all right.
Yes, it was.
Adopted amended. Yeah. Alderman Flynn.
Yes.
Alderman Anderson.
Yes.
Alderman King.
Yes.
Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Carry 5-0.
Thank you. The next resolution is awarding RFP and authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to enter into a contract with Greenberg Farrow for the provision of a pavement distress data collection services in an amount not to exceed $37,500 and for other purposes. I'd entertain a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Alderman Anderson.
Second.
Alderman Flynn. This is the beginning of our pavement management plan. You've probably heard me talk about this before, where we need a better way of determining which streets need what type of surface, what is the time frame for doing it, and how do we pull this plan together so that we can cost it out, how long is it going to take to fix all the streets, and then bring it back to our constituents with both pricing, how are we going to pay for it, and what is it going to do for us. Alderman Flynn on my right and your left has been working very hard with Superintendent Button to put this into play and also look at a 5-year plan, and this may go out beyond the 5 years. I see that the gentlemen are with us this evening from the company that is being proposed to have this contract. They have equipment that will go up and down every single street in Bella Vista, including the cul-de-sacs at the bottom. And they will come back essentially with a map that's going to show which streets are red, and you can imagine what that means, which ones are yellow and which ones are green. That's a starting point. That'll tell us where do we have to focus. And the focus, by the way, is not on the red streets. You chip away at the red streets, but you fix your yellow first, because they kindly brought in an extremely smart lady from the University of Arkansas who knows rock, gravel, asphalt. She's brilliant. And she basically said, fix your yellows first, because if you let them go to red, it'll cost you 6 times the amount of money. We will then overlay on that the density, where do we have a lot of people living, and then we also have a lot of traffic counts. That'll tell us, do we use asphalt or some other surface sealant? So this is the beginning. Eventually, we will have that plan that we can present to you so that you're able to vote and tell us what do we do next. But we have to have a starting point, and this is it. Is there any discussion?
I do have a question. In the packet that we got, and it looks like this is Sebastian County, they have green, yellow, orange, and red. Will we just have the green, yellow, and red?
Yes, we'll just go for the three.
All right. And what is the reason for that?
There was really no need for the yellow, and when we looked at the streets, they're either good
Or they're bad?
or they're bad, and then we have everything in between.
All right.
Because the streets, unfortunately, as we all know, were not put in by the developer with any degree of sophistication. And we also now have some erosion and some drainage problems as well, which are separate issues.
Well, I just had that question because of the example that was sent to
Right,
us.
that's true. Any other discussion? All righty, votes are.
All right. Alderman Anderson. Yes. Alderman King.
Yes.
Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Alderman Morgan.
Yes.
Alderman Flynn.
Yes.
Carry 5-0.
Thank you. Item number H, awarding RFP and authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to enter into a contract with First Employment Staffing for the provision of temporary staffing of seasonal street department personnel in an amount not to exceed $59,000 and for other purposes. This is a resolution that we bring to the table every year. It's for seasonal mowing so that we can hopefully keep down some of the critters and also the insects along the highways. And the RFP is with the same company as last year for the same price, so there has not been an increase. Have we had the motion yet? No. So I'll entertain a motion, please.
I move that we accept this resolution.
Thank you.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Let's go to the vote, please.
It was my understanding that we did increase the payment to the staffers, the folks that are going to do it.
Mr. Sennison?
Wouldn't be Chris.
Oh, sorry. No, that'd be Mike.
Yeah, it'd be Mike.
Um,
I'm pretty sure we did increase because we had talked about
Oh, we did
increasing
talk
it
about
even
it.
last year. So I'm pretty sure we did increase. I don't know whether the grand total
I
of the
don't think
contract
the grand
went
total
up,
didn't
but
change.
the price to each individual worker went up
Okay.
by at least $1 an hour. That's so that we get somebody qualified to operate the equipment.
Right. But, yeah, the grand total did not change. Any other discussion? All right, sir.
Okay. Alderman Morgan.
Yes.
Alderman Flynn.
Yes.
Alderman Anderson.
Yes.
Alderman King.
Yes.
Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Carry 5-0.
Meetings and announcements. The next city council work session will be Monday, April the 20th, 5:30 at City Hall. The next regular meeting of city council will be April 27th at 6:30 right here at the Legion. The Planning Commission work session will be Wednesday, April the 1st at 4 p.m. in the City Hall conference room. Planning Commission regular meeting will be April the 13th at 6:30 in the City Hall conference room. Plus, we have 4 others that are not on the list. There will be a public safety meeting April the 8th at City Hall. On March the 24th at 7 p.m., that's tomorrow night. In Reardon Hall, there will be the first ever joint POA City-Town meeting. At that meeting, we'll have an opportunity to meet the aldermen and meet the department heads and also the board members at the POA, as well as the president of the Bentonville-Bella Vista Chamber of Commerce saying a few words as well. On April the 14th at 6:30 at Reardon Hall, there will be a meeting to discuss the Trails and Greenway Master Plan. And finally, on May the 7th, at 7 o'clock in the morning, for all of you who are early risers, I will be hosting a First Mayor's Prayer Breakfast Club. That is the National Day of Prayer at the First United Methodist Church over on Boyce. And that'll be at 7 o'clock in the morning, and the price is $6. I think it will be a very interesting agenda. We've been working on it hard. That concludes. Is there any other new business that we may have missed?
Could I add one thing? I will
Yes.
be in charge of tickets for the city council and city employees. So
That's
if you're
for the breakfast.
for the breakfast. So
Right.
if you're interested in going, please contact me.
Thank you, Alderman. And I also believe that Allen's will be selling them as well. If there's no other business, then I call the meeting adjourned. Thank you for attending. We'll see you next month.